consider the ideal body and what are the ways advised to get to that?
If 100 people are going to a gym, how many are coming out with a six-pack, ab, aesthetics and all that? So Vyayam is very much holistic, where your mind, body and spirit is trained. Your inner organs are also trained. It's a traditional sadhana form.
This video is an excerpt of my show, The Forgotten Essence of Indian Culture and Temples, that airs live on iHeartRadio via Ruckus Avenue Radio. I grew up in the US, but my longing to know more about my roots took me back to India for over a decade, where I discovered there's much more than most people realize. In this episode, we delve into the world of ancient strength training and wellness with Krishna, a seasoned strength coach trained in Indian martial arts. Namaste and welcome to The Forgotten Essence of Indian Culture and Temples. Today I'm here with Krishna, who is a teacher of the Mugdar. I'm also very new to this topic, so I have a list of questions that I want to ask about this whole traditional fitness system and how it can fit into our lives as normal people who want to develop a fitness which has a rooting in something deeper but very new to the whole field.
So Vyayama is like introduction. What did our ancestors do when gyms did not exist and protein powders were not existing? That is what Vyayama is all about. It's a traditional sadhana form. For example, yoga is to still the mind. Vyayama is a movement-based sadhana itself. And Mugdar has been in our culture for a long, long time. We can't even take a document and say that this is when Mugdar thing started. It is that old. And it is a separate tradition altogether also. You see all the scriptures, hands of devatas, whichever be it. Most of our devatas have Mugdar in their hand. Bhutaganas have Mugdar in their hand. When you go to Jainism, Yakshas have it in their hand. In Buddhism, you see Indonesian statues, you can see Mugdar in hands of bodyguards that sit out. In Tamil, we call them Kaval Devatai. So for every god, there will be a protection layer. So someone who is spiritual, they will know. And all those Kaval Devatas have Mugdar or Gada in the hand. So Mugdar is that old. We don't know how old it is. And normally, anyone who does this traditional training, they live at least up to 85, 86. So that is the best part. When you train traditionally, when you're doing any movement with Mugdar, it is more circular. In any movement, you're generating energy, right? So when energy is generated, we are taught to channelize it. It will be easy to understand if you compare it to Qigong or Kung Fu. Meditation is a part of martial art training. Meditation was never a separate thing. With martial arts, the last state of that is dhyana only. Then after that, it's samadhi. The template has been the same. Our people were so spiritual that har ek field, they found ways to find peace, to become better. It is the same with dance also. It is the same with music. When someone is inclined towards listening music itself, I feel they are blessed. Key difference between Vyayama and any other physical activity is Vyayama comes with a culture background. There is a philosophy attached to it. There are so many stories that drive inspiration. For even Mugdar, there are 100 plus mentions about Mugdar in our scriptures. Right from Mahabharata, Skanda Purana, every Purana has mentions of Mugdar.
Does Vyayama talk about the energy body, the prana, the deeper aspects of the chakras and the nadis? Is there any kind of study like that?
With martial arts alone, after experting weapons, you are taught Varma, pressure points, and all that. And throughout this process, you are taught healing, like what happens if your body is sick, how to train. So, training is not a subscription sort when it comes to traditional fitness. Training is part of your lifestyle. Your lifestyle will start changing once you get into the training. So with this, you are taught to manage anything and everything with your life because it is a holistic art form. Your mind, body, and spirit is getting trained regularly, and the more you train, the better you become. That is how any sadhana is. This is very much a colonialized mindset. If they don't understand anything, British always they separate things. Even with allopathy, you don't understand your body as a whole, you have ophthalmologist, you have orthopedician, you have someone who treats children alone. So a lot of names are there. Okay, because they don't understand body as a whole. When it comes to Ayurveda, it is not the same. Your body is a system. Though your eyes are part of it, you can specialize studying eyes alone. Your eyes is still in your body, no? With traditional art forms, everything was seen holistically, aligned with life. No one is stopping us from reading, no one is stopping us from learning. But it is a long way ahead. I was very much inclined with this Indic way of thinking. So I'm able to connect the dots. I think somewhere around I should be thankful to my grandmother. All that rust that she fed during my childhood, that is all coming out. Now I am extensively reading, researching, practicing. When I meet actually traditionally people who are trained in traditional sadhana, no, you look at them, you'll know. That is how beautiful our art forms are. I think you can very much relate. With dance also, you meet someone genuine, you will know.
Yeah, yeah.
Their bhava itself will give out who they are. So
Mm-hmm.
I think our art form should not be even compared to the scale of what is happening in the outer world. For example, take Zumba. Zumba does not come with a culture. It is a
Mm-hmm.
fun thing to do, but there is no culture background to it. Have thousands, millions, or crores of people have they done it? And is there a culture that is residing throughout this practice? So that is what I see, and that is what I value so much.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no separation of art forms. Yoga, as I said, it is there in everything. For a small example is women when they wake up in the morning, they do columns, right?
Yeah.
The column, when your fingers are touching, your motor skill will never get low. You do column on a daily basis. Your nerves are taken care of. When you sit down to do the column itself, you're doing that properly, including the festival days where it is done extensively and all that. A lot of women will not get hip problems. Having tulsi on a daily basis, this is all work of Agastya. Agasthya is writing in a scripture. This is should be done. Right, you start your day by feeding the smallest organism in the food chain, that is ant. If the number of ants in the world, if there is anything that is going to damage that number, the whole ecosystem will be destroyed. So our day starts with feeding the ants. This is how scientific our practices are. I shouldn't say religion. Religion was nowhere in this picture at all. People presume it is religion, so that is where the problem is. When you simply see that as a knowledge, you have got only one choice: either you accept it, you don't accept it. This is fine. But constructing emotional angle to it, I think that is where we lost a lot of
And
value.
you mentioned about Agastya Muni, so that's something that I'm interested because our team is working on a documentary about Agastya Muni. So we actually spent a few weeks in Indonesia studying what he has done and how it still lives. It's not a dead thing. Although, in spite of immense colonization, still it lives on in people in a very inherent way.
Mm.
They just know it. They are not very
Yeah,
scholarly people,
definitely.
but they naturally know. I know Agastya Muni had a big role in bringing Kaveri into South. So, like that, is there any connection that you can talk about?
Definitely. So the art form I learnt is Silambam. Silambam was taught to Agastya Muni by Skanda. It was like Agastya meditates. He feels tired when he's sitting for meditation. So he goes to Muruga and asks, see, Guru, I feel tired. What do I do? And Muruga teaches him this to increase his prana so that he'll become better in his sadhana.
Wow.
So that is how the art form started. Predominantly, it was living in the hills of South India. And then, as things went by, Rajas got permissions because Muruga is the Raja of the hills. So, in Tamil, there is a saying, Kundru irukkum idamellam guganudiyadu. So, wherever there is a hill, that is Skandas.
Yeah.
He was king of the hills.
Mm.
So, that is the art form that I am practicing. In regards to Agastya, Agastya is not a single person. He's a parampara. In Tamil, the Siddha term is for him is called Kuttutogai.
Mm-hmm.
Kuttutogai means Agastya, imagine it is a position in a company or in a Gurukul. So once you cross that state, you are Agastya. So Agastya's parampara is still there. So it is just that these people don't talk and these people don't find value in talking. There should be some sort of humbleness. This martial art teaches it very, very well. Right from day one, tomorrow, and I am taking someone as a student, it is my responsibility to make sure that they are part of this culture. So all these paramparas thing, they should be following it. If not, it is good that I don't let their aura affect me. So I'm very much clear about it. And anyone who is traditionally doing things, they'll also be clear about it because whatever is split into different streams is all holistically under one practice. My guru simply knows by looking at women, he'll say, three dove. He'll know that. When he is looking at a man, he's not feeling well, my guru will simply take him out, ask him, is there something wrong going in your home?
Okay.
When you're under a sad emotion that is running in your body, your bloodstream generates different chemicals and you are nowhere ready to train. You sweat when you're angry, you sweat when you're this akrosh is running inside. Your adrenaline levels are also not that good, means you're training during that time, you're damaging yourself. So all this is taken care of in our culture. But when you see what is running in the outer world,
Mm-hmm.
break up ho gym chalo, which is the dangerous thing to do. You
Mm-hmm.
feel low in your life, go to gym. Arey, ye kaun sa logic hai? When someone is
Okay.
feeling low, they should talk to someone they know. They should get out of that. That is how it is taken care of. It's a common sense.
Yeah.
Somewhere around, all this is treated with a complex also. If so, who you are talking about mental health, you need not be a psychologist or someone from a mental health or humanities background. You simply have the experience of being with a strong mindset. You are equipped to talk. आजकल जो भी बना रहा है, the system is, it is getting dangerous and people are getting weak in their mind because they are often told what to do, which is not how nature is like working. You move away from your nature, no, you'll never be happy. Swadharma is the basic thing. So, Krishna, I wanted to ask about health, the meaning of health. Today, like you were just touching upon, mental health itself is the understanding of mental health arguably can be considered westernized. Can you talk about traditionally how is health defined and what role does physical exercise play in maintaining health? Not just physical health, but mental health, emotional health, overall being a healthy being. Ayurveda defines health as swasthya. So, swasthya is the term I think everyone should remember. Swasthya means one's own spiritual self. If you're spiritually aligned, only when you're happy, you're considered to be healthy. This common understanding is part of different cultures. Anything that is old and still surviving. Shamans of Native America, they still have the same concept. Chinese martial artists, they still have the same concept. Karate people, these when I say karate, it means Japan. That is where originality is. So only when you learn from original people, you learn their culture. So this is very important. When it comes to a matter of health alone, your spiritual side is also given key importance to it. When it is coming to exercise, in earlier days, exercise was not seen as an option. So for a martial artist, exercise is not an option. It is a definite thing. When you start your training, so when I started my training for 6 months, I did only exercise. After that, I was given a bow staff to train with, and then a variety of weapons, fights, combat, and all that. So the first 6 months of my training was only exercise. But now, when you take a common man's life, exercise is very important because our food is very much adulterated. So when your body is depending on adulterated food, naturally there is a state of weakness that is happening because everything we eat has a foreign agent to it. Can you give an example? When you are tasting a kiwi, it is supposed to be sour, which is not meant for you to consume. But when you taste it and there is a light sweetness at the end of it, it means they are adding something that is not needed now. Coming to the original taste alone, what are the varieties that are sown in your soil? Unless it is native, you're not getting the nutrition value. I think Sadhguruji also did a very big campaign about save the soil and all that. Concept EL. When you're eating something that is good, your body will know. You'll actually feel happy. When you're eating a citrus fruit in the morning time, your body will not accept it that much. When you eat it in the afternoon, jatke se it will accept because it goes with the solar cycle. Okay. When you're having a lot of you see the new age diseases, no, it is all caused because of new age habits. Sitting is one new age habit. In earlier days, people used to sit with their spine erected. When we are sitting, the blood flow to our lower body part is like half only now, compared to walking. In terms of movement, just take it from your family. Your grandfather walked miles, he didn't mind it. Your father walked kilometers, he was not sulking about it. But our generation, it is moving out, they want a two wheeler to go to a street and shop. So, what is happening to your body at a metabolical level? It is simply getting lazier. So when there is no enough blood circulation, all these diseases will come. And on top of this, we always go with advertised value. No one said breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breakfast was made as an important meal by cereal companies and bacon companies, which I have no relationship with. I'm someone who is living in India in a tropical weather. Breakfast is not my most important part of the meal. Lunch is. If I'm not having lunch at a sumptuous quantity, my digestion system will go awry. It is not good. When people are taking in data, they'll have to validate with their practice, which is very important. You're someone who is of your ancestry is from here. When you're living in some other place, there should be a balance of how you take care of your prakriti to that. So prakriti is your body type, vata, pitta, kava. All this knowledge is very much infused with our training. People always like breaking down things. So the best example is watch a kid wake up. So when you see your kid waking up, that energy is how you should wake up also. Digestion ho gaya, resting ho gaya, body circulation is good. When you're waking up, you need to have that energy. That is why Vyayama has helped me so much in that process alone. I am staying mentally, physically, spiritually strong because I do my Vyayam on a daily basis.
Then you are somebody who has devoted your life. This is something I hear quite often, especially in my dance and yoga. They're saying this is something you can do because you have dedicated your life to this. You've put in a certain amount of time in training in it. But people in this day and age, we have so many responsibilities and duties and things like that. So these traditional forms are slowly becoming like a very luxurious thing that little out of reach. So instead of going for that depth, they'll rather go for a quick, like you said, Zumba class, or in my case, go for one Bolly-pop class. No offense to anybody who does either of those things, but then the depth of what we have to offer also becomes out of reach. So how do you bridge this gap?
I think I will give a funny example.
Mm.
So this is like a difference between marriage and having multiple relationships. When you're married, no, you are strictly working on one thing. You know what you're working on. It is life's work. So mindset set ho jayega. When you get into a routine, you will understand how you need to work with the art forms that are currently marketed. Also, for example, when you start with doing 25 push-ups is a minimum. It's a minimum. I know Instagram marketers, or I should call them marketers, or Instagram gurus who don't even do 10 push ups, but they are gurus. I know them in person. Okay. When that's the case, people should learn to analyze who's who. You're learning from someone who's like that. How much can you do? You see, foreigners, this is all where colonization, that American mindset comes in. Dand nahi ho raha hai, so do it from your knees. So when will you learn to do a proper dand? It is about the quality of the skill that you're getting. No, if you really want, the real value lies here. For example, you are learning dance. You have been a sadhaka of dance, so learning never stops for you because you are taken care with that system. There is some part of your heart that says this is my home. And with that art form, you feel soulful. When I have a guru, he's also my mentor. He's also my physician. He's also my personal coach. He's also someone who's giving me culture values. He's also a philosopher. So the way I take in class from him is he talks about our culture. What did our gurus do in those days? How did they live? What are the struggles they faced? When you compare that, what I am going through in the name of struggle is nothing. People have trained when they had no food. They had no food. Still, they were training in the art forms. That is the dedication one gives for the art form. Somewhere around, I don't think the current generation will understand it because they grew up with distractions, which means soul searching never happens in the first place. It is not happening at all. Then expecting oneself to be happy is simply a joke, no? But that is why I feel depth. When I do something, I want to know what I'm doing.
Most of the people I know, they spend extensive time in the gym, very strict diet and all that. It does make a difference. Like many of my friends have come to a very beautiful fitness look that they're happy with. And of course, it's put all over social media as a very effective way of improving your life. Now, when I hear from you about what you teach and the various nuances involved in that, I wonder if you can just address this topic very directly in terms of what is the difference, what they get if they go for the gym versus having a Vyayama practice in their life. End of the day, the world needs takeaways. So if you can give some kind of a benefit breakdown for people to understand in a simple way.
So first I'll talk about gyms. So gyms became famous after bodybuilding started as an industry. So which is around 1900s. Actually, it started with 18 itself. The one who started this system, his name is Eugene Sandow. Eugene Sando's system of exercise become the standard those days. And surprisingly, he had students who used to write letters to him. They used to attach their fee to it, and then he used to write back. He has trained students in India also. So this guy was that famous. In his system, it is a vyayam. The procedure how he has done is a vyayam. Traditionally, slowly you start, then you increase the count. Because the way he formalized the concept of exercise was by looking at Greek and Roman statues. What is happening now in the outer world is no one is following that system. So Vyayam is very much holistic, where your mind, body, and spirit is trained. Your inner organs are also trained. You're staying in a state of detox and you're taught to stay happy. You're emotionally taken care of with this system. And there is a culture backing and a community value that comes with Vyayam.
Okay.
When it is with gym, Your goal is body aesthetics. After 45, a man cannot function normally as he used to be because there is a hormonal drop of testosterone. With women, it is happening much early because of the lifestyle they are adapting to. And there is no sense of strength in it. Strength is not the goal. Aesthetic is the goal. With Vyayam, strength is the only goal. Your endurance is the goal. And the next thing is with gym, the trends keep changing. When you have a personal trainer, they'll give a different set of exercise. Where it is according to the package. There are a lot of unwanted habits that are being pushed which are unhealthy. Having too much powders. Once you have powders, your body has reached its limits. You want to grow fat in particular portions, you get to steroids. And when you watch documentaries of people who have taken steroids, they cry. Bodybuilding is a sport. So why would someone normal choose a sport that is not that good? The success rate of people in that industry itself is not more than 2-3%. If 100 people are going to a gym, how many are coming out with a six-pack ab, aesthetics and all that? 2, 3? In India, the success rate is much lesser. It is only ads. Have you seen any personal trainer without having a ad profile on Instagram? No. All this, people don't have the time to sit down because they are pushed. New Year aa gaya to you have to get a gym subscription because it is advertisement that is running it. If you talk to people who have gone to gym, so most of the students I reckon they have got zero effects because they went to a gym or they are not able to continue and they feel there is something wrong. The gym exercises, you strain the nerves. It is simply getting proportions of fat in different parts of the body. That is the aesthetic goal. Usko leke kya, how functional is your muscle? If your body is strong, you'll not get fever. It's been 8 years since I went to a doctor. My body is taken care of with my system. Why would I go to a doctor? I'm training doctors now. They understand that Vyayam works. I know allopathy doctors who take Ayurvedic medications. Gym systems and all, your body's uniqueness is lost. Everybody's genetics is different. For someone whose genome is accepting rice as the major, starch input, you ask them to switch to roti, you ask them to stop eating rice, their brain is going into depression. You'll be surprised to know there is a scripture called Tiruppugal. Have you heard of it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Tiruppugal is for Muruga. So in that, Arunagiri mentions that Irkai Annam, 2 handful of rice is necessary for your brain to not go depressed. So all this is being given to us. Someone who reads Tiruppugal the proper way, they'll know that they'll have to have rice at least 2 handfuls on a daily basis. When you're eating something that you're not happy about, you're already in stress. No, if my habit is to eat rice, I'm not eating rice for 2 days. My brain, from my subconscious levels, I am stressed. And with stress, you do any activity, the fruition will be zero. Chronic stress is the main reason why people don't progress. In physical fitness form, it is common for life also. You have chronic stress, people can never progress in life. A lot of artists, a good artist knows when to stop, right? To come to that stopping level, there should be a journey. So this is what I think the common difference between gym and this is a short-term goal. Gym is a short-term goal. Vyayam is a long-term journey. You can't compare any holistic art with a sport. And there is nowhere holistic in that matter. Watching motivation videos which convince you that it is holistic, I think it is funny.
You were talking earlier about your
problem.
experience in healthcare system, right?
The healthcare system today is, first thing is, once you get a surgery, your body will never get towards achieving its peak strength. Most of the surgeries require anesthesia. Once anesthesia is in, that's it. So your liver gets affected. A lot of side effects are there. That is why in martial art terms, we always say that katti padakudadu. You should never get a surgery. Then I see this as a pattern where people are made to be afraid. Agar accident ho gaya to, unless the physiotherapist says you should never move. But what does physiotherapist do? They're simply moving your joints. ये तो खुद कर सकते हैं ना. डराना की बात तो, this is why I don't understand why these people do that. End of the day, it's a recurring revenue. It is all tied to your revenue. You stop paying, nothing is going to happen. But compare the system with the traditional system. Vaidya's lifestyle was very much involved with spirituality. Vaidya's routine, he starts the day with chanting or puja. It is the niyam. This is how they are supposed to live. When Vaidya goes, for example, I am a Vaidya, I go touch a person, I'll analyze before touching it. For us, This is how it is functioning for a martial artist also. If one of the students I am training in, like I train in my guru's class, they get injured, some Icelanders routine will not work here. And then the complexities involved is our Vyayam system is highly scientific, highly scientific. So for example, you have a Mugdar in hand. So this our design is called Papai, or I call it Bappa Mugdar. It looks like Bappa's pate. So with this is a 8 kg one. I'm holding it with my grip strength alone. I'm leaving it down. I'm getting it up. I can do it in any direction just because my wrist is trained. If my wrist is not trained, I can't do nothing with this. When I swing with this, I generate prana. With that prana, when I sit for meditation, the way that I progress is totally different from without doing this. I'll see certain days I do only body weight because when I'm taking classes, I do enough of this so that I balance. When this is the system here, are you generating prana with gym training? Are you generating more life with gym training? Are you eating things that are going to make you live longer? Are you taking care of your gut? Are you happy end of the day? My goal is I'll train only to be happy. In my Akhada, the blessings our Guruji give itself, mast raho. We are not happy doing it. If you are going to a gym, the stress factor is from the first day. 10 curls. The first day when you're given a dumbbell, this is wrong. Only you need to train with your body weight first, and then you go to any weights. This is basic principle, no? Someone who cannot lift their own body weight, free weights लेके क्या करेगा वो?
Body is so important for everybody. Like our body is what dictates our many of our decisions are done around the needs of our body, and it is a very essential part of our experience of living in this planet. So obviously there's so much discussion, so much energy, time spent in beautifying the body. These are things that we have a very skewed understanding thanks to, commercial forces. So can you talk about traditionally what is considered the ideal body and what are the ways that they advised to get to that ideal state?
Traditional understanding is based on the lifestyle. For example, you are someone who's working on a laptop for 8 hours, for 9 hours. Your body strength level should work on you becoming a better person at your job. Makes sense, right? It comes with your profession. For someone who does a lot of sitting work, their goal should be more about how to make easy movements so that their pain points. Usually, back pain is a common thing. The spasms, circulation in your back, that not the spasm generation at all will not happen properly because you're seated for a long time. Knees will be a problem because the blood flow gets stuck in your knees. When it goes down and it's coming up, it gets stuck in your knees, your hips. So what happens is the animal nature inside you. We all evolved from monkeys. So have you seen a monkey sit down in front of a screen, be there for a longer time? No. Our genetic matches 98% with gorillas, chimpanzees. Chimpanzee also has a lot of match. They move. Moving is not an option. Moving is a necessity. It is a necessary metabolic activity. For this itself to happen, it is low struggle for people to understand because ये तो habit हो गया school से. That our education system used to function is itself totally different. With Gurukul, expertise mattered. It was expertise based learning. Someone comes out of a Gurukul, they know what they are talking about. So that is why Gurukul system of training is very important. I have now switched to training for the past 1 year. I've been training people in Gurukul system. So I know what to do the best in it. Tomorrow, if I get a chance to make them perform, I know what to do with who because their expertise lies there and it is highly personalized. And personalization is very important for growth. For individuals' growth, if they don't see growth, no one will be motivated to continue it. And to give that growth, people will have to empty their cup first. There is a lot of unwanted data when it comes to Vyayam. When people hear the word diet, they say, gee, I don't know if I can follow. I'm telling the only thing with Vyayam is we understand your Prakriti, what it is. Then once you get on a call with me, I'll understand the genetics. I'm going to simply suggest what your grandmother made, or I'm going to simply suggest few changes according to these times, what that has to be made. That's all. A lot of unwanted fads are running. A lot of fads are running. People's mind is like so confused that first emptying the cup is a big process. It will take 1 week, 2 weeks. Only then people understand, ye mera body hai. So when it is coming to yoga, yoga has done that effect on people that they know to calm themselves a bit. So it is easy to train people from yoga background into Vyayam.
Okay.
So they have a better understanding.
Oh, very interesting.
When it is Vyayam, the goal is strength and endurance. Yeah, endurance is the goal. So, for example, you walk for 1 kilometer, you get tired. When you do Vyayam, you'll naturally walk for 5 kilometers. You give me 1 month time, I'll make you walk 5 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much possible, and I have done it before.
Mm.
And end of the day, it should not be stressful at all. You should enjoy the process. No, I am someone
Yeah.
only if I don't enjoy things, I don't do. I don't do
Mm.
anything that I'm not enjoying. That should be the
Yeah.
case for everyone. And I think it is also a personal choice. I don't want to tell Vyayam is the alternative for gyms. Come to me. I'm going to make you a Sena. No. If it is
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you,
No.
you are someone who is dharmic. You are someone who
Mm.
understands the value of art forms. You are someone who is ready to give time for yourself. The common benefits of doing Vyayam is you'll stay energetic throughout the day. Right from
Mm-hmm.
your work time, before your work time starts, you do a Vyayam in the morning. Throughout the day, you'll stay energetic. The best side effect people get is 4 5 days into the routine, they say they are sleeping better. This is the common
Oh.
compliment I get. Thank you, G.
Oh.
I'm sleeping better. This is the next
Mm.
thing. Third one is your blood circulation will drastically improve. If you're someone
Mm-mm-mm.
who is sitting and working, you'll be comfortable to sit and work. So, because I designed the module that way that I took 30 people, I did a research with them, I sat down with them, and then I designed this module in such a way that it works for the benefit of them. Then I beta tested it.
Mm.
Here, the success rate was around 70%, which I'm like, wow, this is great. And whatever I tell my students also, it comes from my expertise, my guru's expertise, and whatever my parampara has done, and the extensive research I do on top of them. Beyond that, I shouldn't
Mm.
talk. Tradition, the responsibility is always going to be there. I'll simply ask them before starting training, "Are you good? How's your day?" If they're stressed mentally, it is not good for them to exercise with a high intensity. Anger,
Mm.
when rechanneled, it becomes pain in the body. So where it comes,
Mm.
what happens, all this is taught to us. If you want to learn about it, now there will be a separate stream called psychosomatics.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the beauty of traditional art forms. Integrated approach. When
Mhm.
things are integrated, you understand what is what, and it helps being a better person also. After a certain point in martial arts, for everything there is a sankalpa that is taken. It is common in spirituality also. It is common. Spiritual lineage
Mm-hmm.
also do this. In dance also, I don't know how sankalpa happens, but when arangetram and all happens, the procedure itself is like to take a sankalpa that I'll be,
Yeah. Yeah.
taking the value of the guru. I'll spread it. Now that I am doing
Mm.
arangetram and all, this is done in terms of shloka.
Yeah.
So when that sankalp is there, you also get a sense of responsibility. Now
Yeah.
we need to
Definitely.
transfer this value at least to kids so that they understand that yet this tradition exists. Now it is all coming back.
Ah.
The interest is all coming back. I read a lot
Okay.
of Native American stuff.
Mm.
So
Wait,
you'll
one
be
second. One
surprised to
second.
know there is so much of
Ah.
similarity, so much of similarity. Anything that is ancient always has parallels, no? So
Mm.
our culture has parallels with shamans, Chinese, very old Japanese way of working and all that. It is just that we are not given the right scripts to read or right books to read, so we are not able to understand it. Vyayama works like this. You parallelly compare it with the shamans of Native American way. They do a ritual. When someone is not feeling well, they say that they connect it with their gods. So they do a ritual to a particular deity. They do a ritual to one of their elders, so that everyone sit in a prayer circle and they pray for one person. This is highly powerful because thoughts are end of the day. What we send out, it is a boomerang. The vibe you send
Mm-hmm.
out is the vibe you receive.
Mm-hmm.
How beautiful is this culture? They have told
Mm.
extensively about English medicine. They say how English medicine destroyed their culture. Somewhere around we should read so that their pain is not felt by us. Ayurveda, I know it is now becoming popular, but this concept of Gugulu is very new because tablets are the competition, Gugulu is there. In Siddha, everything is mixed with raw honey, mountain honey, and then you are made to eat. Teas were fantastic medicines. So I don't stop drinking tea any time of the day because I know what I'm drinking, what it is going to do to my body, how I'm balancing my prakriti. I do that. That is why tea existed in the first place. Milk to tea was added by Britishers when they started running our railways. It became big. Biscuit along with it was given. You consume
Mm-hmm.
high sugar with milk that is reboiled, reheated, always it is staying in a pan.
Mm.
Then you have biscuit on top of it. You're naturally building diabetes.
Mm.
When that is the habit that you're used to, how do you balance it?
Mhm.
Where do you find that balance?
Mm.
So this is what everything is unique. There are families that eat papad with tea. This is their habit. For them, you need not stop it. But how do you balance it? What are the other things that are going to cause diabetes? This is how you understand your body. For someone, diabetics is genetics. There are certain things they should do and they should not do. It's based on their prakriti.
Mhm.
How to stop? How do you give that input to every organ in your body?
Mhm.
So this is how advanced Vyayam is.
Mm.
No one went to a doctor unless a grandma was in the house. No one went to a doctor. Only when grandma died, they went to doctor. What did before 1920s? They used to lift 20 kgs and do masala.
Mhm.
This is how strong their grip was. Now what is happening to people? See, when you think about it, it is not our mistake at all. We simply followed the trends, and trends are dictated by companies. Once we take a look back about what is happening, when you take away the trust from insurance, this will naturally happen. Just think,
Mm.
you have not done your life insurance. How
Mhm.
will you lead your life? So I remind myself on a daily basis, I don't want life insurance.
Mhm.
So when I get this thought, I know what I should do for my body to stay strong. I simply go do it.
I have seen your posts related to you had been in Varanasi recently and very traditional kind of a training in the Akhada and all that. So could you talk about how Vyayama is traditionally
Yeah.
taught? What is the Akhada culture and how do you teach? Just the training aspect, if you can talk about.
Sure. I learned Kushti in Varanasi in 2019. So Varanasi is my second home. Whenever I want, I can go
Mhm.
there. I've
Mm.
not documented much about being in Varanasi. I stayed there for 6 months. Morning and evening, I trained. Since I am from a martial art background, naturally, I was able to pick up wrestling easily. So they like me very much. So they treat me like family. So when I go there, I can't stay in outside hotels and all because people get offended. So I am that close with
Mm.
Velvans there. With
Okay.
Prahalwan Akhada training, Akhada is if you read about the history of the particular Akhada I trained in, Akhada Swaminath, a lot of freedom fighters have trained from it. So the Akhada which I trained in is near Tulsi Ghat. Tulsi Ghat is where Tulsidas sat down to write Ramayana. The building
Mm.
that is above my Akhada is where the Dhyana place of Tulsidas ji was there. So to me, it is very sacred, very, very sacred. So when I
Mm.
learn from that space, when you get into an Akada itself, you are treated as a son or a daughter of Hanumanji. So women had
Mhm.
their separate Akadas. In the times of Krishna Devaraya, there were female wrestlers who normal men used to be afraid of. Female wrestling was there.
Oh.
It was big. Now, after when the country is facing a lot of wars, colonization is happening, it will be impossible to
Mm.
follow culture unless our
Mm.
brains are so tuned with tight, no, ye karna hai. When you do this only, you are Sanatan Dharma is never like that. Whatever you do, you'll find happiness with it. That is the essence of Sanatan Dharma. And I think now whoever is talking about Sanatan Dharma also, they are being very vehement about it. I am like, chill dude, pata hai. This is how life is. And you'll be surprised to know, 1980, there was a prediction done by Goraka. Long time, 12th
Mm.
century, something around. He has written what will happen until 1980.
Mm.
Time travel karke they have written. There is a
Oh.
Smriti called Parasara Smriti about understanding of Kali Yuga. Somewhere around we should read all this. Tulsidas ji in Ramayana, you see there will be mentions of what all will happen in Kali Yuga because the struggle is mental here. And जो भी हम बात
Oh.
कर रहे हैं ना, I don't want it to be taken so seriously that people are like, करेंगे, ये no. If you're stressed
Mm.
about it, you're
Mm.
being stupid. You see,
Mm.
sudden gym deaths. Why this is happening? Why are people stupid? I always feel that when I see some
Mm.
sudden deaths in gyms happening, there was a Kalari master who died around 2 years before in Chennai.
Mm.
So this affects me because someone who is
Oh.
practicing an art form, they should cut down thumb fingers of martial artists. And
Oh.
whatever I practice comes from people who saved this art form by entering into sugarcane fields. They
Oh.
created festivals so that the art form stays. Or during Pongal time, you will see the Silambam is very common. That was
Mm.
made by these people so that the art form does not die. They need a reason for the
Oh.
art form to survive. So there's so
Mm.
much work that is being done. So when I train people, I have to make sure that they understand the pain of these ancestors. We owe a lot of gratitude to Sikhs. We owe a
Mm.
lot of gratitude to Marathas. Any
Mm.
lady wearing a bindi today, they owe a lot of gratitude to Shivaji Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Can you teach us?
a point of time everyone was forced to either become a Muslim or get into the tax paying bunch of Hindus.
Mm,
For you to be Hindu, one of your ancestor paid a tax and you
mm,
give no value about it. And what is the prayojan ka hai isme? What is the main thing? Why did they do that? There is a lot of pain attached to it, no? My
mhm,
grandfather, my mother's father, until he died, he was doing his rituals until the last day he was alive. And he told me,
mm,
he gave me a
mm,
date on which he is going to die.
mhm.
That was right.
Oh,
He died exactly on the date. He said
mm,
he'll not cross December 13th. He said it on December 7th. He passed away on 8th, 8th or 9th.
mm,
Because
mm,
someone who's in connect with their own spirit, they know what is happening. No, I've never seen my grandfather skip his rituals. I've
mm.
never seen him do that. On the day he is having fever, also he'll sit down, he'll do his ritual, and then only he'll come back. So that is the kind of one's own strength you need to understand. The sadhana karenge, that is when you'll understand. Anything needs a routine. And flashing
Mhm.
out new things when you go to a gym, this is your first month target, this is your second month target. Target ko
Yeah.
soch ke you're becoming tired. You should
Correct,
not be. You
correct.
should be joyful about training. When I talk to people, you enjoy these
Mhm.
kind of conversations. That is when you should talk. Also, I should have told you before itself. When you don't feel
Yeah,
it is interesting, kindly stop me.
very true.
People should learn to. The, nature is common for everyone. Okay,
Mhm,
you become closer to nature. Nature will simply guide you. हर एक चीज को
mhm,
बात करने के लिए भाषा भी होता है. There is a
mhm,
way nature communicates with you also. Only when
mhm,
you're calm enough, you don't have anything else running in your mind is not preoccupied, you'll be able to listen to that. So people who have realized it, who have done some sort of sadhana only will connect with. So I'm glad that I have connected, I have this call with you. Because
mhm.
somewhere you're able to resonate, no? Which means you have done some
Definitely.
spiritual work.
Yeah, I would say I don't know many things. I grew up in the US, but I moved back to India. I lived there in Sadhguru Center for over a decade. But that also was very, doing sadhana, studying in a very internal way, not really studying outside books. So it's now that I'm outside and back in the society, I'm starting to learn the history, learn the. See, it's different when you just go and experience meditation. That's one thing. But then when you see the history behind what has this Sanatana Dharma, what has this whole thing gone through, the actual people, the actual blood, sweat, and tears that has gone to even making this available for me today. When you study that, that itself gives me an immense sense of passion and I don't know what to say. It gives you a lot of energy because that fills you with gratitude. It fills you with many. I can't really express those
Definitely.
emotions and feelings.
Definitely. And it is also the combined effort of people who had a simple, noble dream of their family or the next generation should have this
Yeah.
sort of happiness. That is why they did it in the first place. You
Mm,
see, when you talk about exercising, Shivaji Maharaj's unit's warm up was not Surya Namaskars. Warm up was not a Surya Namaskars. So you'll have to
mm,
understand the intensity with which they trained. Now, 108 Surya Namaskars we do. What you see the common trend on Instagram? I am like,
mm,
okay, 108 Surya Namaskar. Uske baad, this is my reaction to that. But I
yeah.
also understand that our physical strength levels have gone down because of the lifestyle changes. Earlier, I used to be
Mm,
like, okay, to kya, 108, uske baad. Now, after this period of meditation and all that, now I understand this is even hard for a common person to try because their joints are not supporting, their blood circulation
mhm,
levels is not there. So personally, why got into this training itself, like I saw a lot of my close friends getting affected. One of my
mhm,
colleague had a serious injury. I don't know if I had expressed that much concern, but ये तो internally it affected me like, अरे हो क्या रहा है? I know your body
mhm,
is simply, if you maintain it, it is going to survive. It is like fueling it with petrol. That's all. Any body will take
mhm,
care of. One of my friends'
mhm,
sister, 23-year-old kid getting cancer and all that, and a
mhm,
lot of similar things happening around. Young people
mhm,
getting sick, sudden deaths in
mhm,
gyms, and all that. This has kind of impacted me that I simply went and sat with my asan. I told him, "Yeah, something bad is happening in society. I don't understand what is happening. I want to do something about it." He was
mhm.
like, "I told you to start teaching long time ago. At least start
Oh.
doing now." He said,
Mhm,
"This is the only thing we can do." That is why I think the responsibility of our own health, we have to own it at some point.
mhm,
You are going to get a fever, your body sends signal 2 days before. Why are you not able to understand it? So all this, ये तो gym में कभी नहीं हो सकता है. They can't understand it even. Because for them इतना rep करना है, इतना set करना है, protein इतना खाना है, you have to walk this much. ये तो mission जैसा है ना.
Yeah.
That natural element is not there. Earlier it was gymnast. Gymnasium became gym. So the real training is with gymnast. When you're old, you can't go do a gymnast ka thing, because for the conditioning itself, it will take a lot of time. I would say it is not practically that possible, but if you're interested, it can be done also. Anything is possible. Humanly possible things. So gymnasium became gym. But what all happened in gymnasiums? Is it happening in gyms? No. People are flexible like hell. They were strong like crazy. They used to pull up their body weight with gymnastic rings and stand on it. Even then, the circus people adapted Indian clubs in their routine. Mugdar was there in their routine. Mugdar was compulsory for US Army until World War II.
Wow.
They were doing Indian clubs.
Now you have spoken in depth your knowledge in brief about your background and then with your guru. Can you talk about if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to learn these deeper aspects, what is it that you offer to people? How can they contact you? How can they stay in touch with you to continue to learn?
Just send me the word Vyayam on my Instagram. I'll get back to them. And I'm very particular about who I train with also. Commitment is key, because someone's lifestyle is my work. So if you're coming to me, you're giving me that responsibility, and I am 200% ready to take that responsibility. And only when that sync is there, I train with people.
Okay.
And it is good in certain ways that I am very explicit about it. I don't give fake promises. Individualized, personalized routine will be there. Their diet and their nutrition goals, all this will be given. And first, I need to set up a rapport. I need to have that rapport so that we work really well. You can simply forget about your transformation. It will naturally happen. Get stronger. Be natural. I don't give supplements like what is done outside and all. Kitchen mein hi sab ho jayega. It is all herbs. It is simply the herbs alone. It will be taken care of. And you need to be a better person. That is the main goal. Personal development happens only when you work on that person.
So, thank you so much,
Sure.
Krishna, for sharing your knowledge and also for dedicating your life to something like this. We bow down to you for that, because it's not everybody cannot do that in this day and age. To have the courage to really dedicate your life towards a traditional art form like this is something that we all bow down to.